Welcome to Stroke Power, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we're here for a poetry discussion for a poem which takes place in Charles Bukowski, The Pleasures of the Damned, on page 245. It is titled My Failure. So we're going to start this off with a reading and then go into the discussion. My Failure. I think of devils in hell and stare at a beautiful vase of flowers as the woman in my bedroom angrily switches the light on and off. We have had a very bad argument, and I sit in here smoking cigarettes from India, as on the radio an opera singer's prayers are not in my language. Outside the window to my left reveals the night lights of the city, and I only wish I had the courage to break through this simple horror and make things well again. But my petty anger prevents me. I realize hell is only what we create, smoking these cigarettes, waiting here, wandering here, while in the other room she continues to sit and switch the light on and off, on and off. This is something you can only get one place. This is wisdom. It is old people wisdom, and you can only get old people wisdom from one place. Old people. So, where I would like to start the discussion about this poem is with that light switch. This woman sits in the bedroom, angrily switching the light on and off. What does that represent? The light, fairly obviously, represents how we see the world, how it is that we look at things. This and Bukowski's role as the speaker, but not the actor of the poem. He is speaking the poem. She is acting and switching the light on and off, on and off. That is her role. She is taking action. The failure is with Bukowski in the fact that he is not. We are with the speaker. Where are we with the speaker? We're in the other room with presumably the light off, because in his room, whatever room of the apartment or the hotel that he resides in, which I'm assuming it is a hotel because he's smoking cigarettes from another country, which doesn't necessarily mean that he's not in the United States. We import all sorts of tobacco products here, but also that opera singer singing prayers are not in his language. Sure, that could absolutely be on the radio in the United States, but not a lot of opera on the radio in the United States. It strikes me that he is perhaps with a beautiful woman of another country in her country. Maybe I'm wrong. That presumption is not necessarily important, but adding to it, he does not say of my city, the lights of my city in the distance. He just says the lights of the city. But presumably he is in the dark because he's looking at the lights of the city through the window. She is in the other room, the bedroom, switching the lights on and off, on and off. She is actively attempting to change the way she sees the world. Bukowski, however, is sitting in the dark, stewing, smoking his cigarettes, coming to the realization that he's in hell. He wants to change his outlook on the world in the way that she is actively attempting to change her outlook on the world, the way she is seeing things post-fight. His petty anger prevents him. but only wish I had the courage to break through this simple horror and make things well again. That simple horror reflecting on the devils in hell, the hells that we create for ourselves. This is the failure inherent to this poem. This is a fairly straightforward poem. This is a very straightforward discussion, but it is one that I happened upon, and it's something with which I identify very heavily. I am one who is prone to discouraged moods, and I am one who is prone to using anger to fuel him through heavy workloads and heavy burdens. I am one who, in my anger, often seeks solitude. So this is a poem that spoke to me in the moment, and I wanted to get out some thoughts on it. And boy, does it strike home. I can't tell you how many times in my life I have been the person who did, through some shortcoming or some flaw or some mistake or some failure, retreat to solitude and stew there and attempt to work on something. Work on the self, work on writing, work on reviews, work on this, work on that. So it's a poem that it gives you that swift little kick in the ass where you know that not only, certainly you're not special for that being the mechanism by which you cope with anger, with shortcoming, with mistakes, with failures, etc. Not only are you not special in that way, but when you do that, it is oftentimes not even an active role. Even if when I retreat in this way, I am working on things. Oftentimes that work is 2 parts stewing to 1 part progress. So that is, as my neighbor is watching a horror movie, I don't know if you can hear that. I certainly can. Not going to stew, though. Not going to stew. But yeah, this is a very simple old man wisdom poem that we are getting from Bukowski. And I just wanted to pop on here and give a little, give a couple thoughts on it.